All right, look at this. What a wonderful crowd here today. So I think first thing first, my name is Faraz Javed. I'm a reporter at WXYZ Channel 7. How many of you guys know me? That's good to know. and those of you guys haven't seen Channel 7, well, you know, it's okay. Mistakes happen. We'll rectify it tonight. All right? But ladies and gents, good evening. Welcome to the 12th annual Fight for Justice Gala. And it's a true honor to be here with you tonight as your MC. This evening we gather not only to celebrate, but also to reaffirm our commitment to the mission of the Arab American Civil Rights League, a mission that began as a call to action against injustice and discrimination facing Arab Americans and the Muslim community at large. Tonight, we celebrate remarkable achievements within our community. We will honor 5 distinguished individuals whose efforts have significantly impacted our community and the broader region. Additionally, we extend a warm welcome and special honor to our keynote speaker, whose insight tonight will inspire and challenge us as we further our advocacy efforts. So, over the past 12 years, the ACRL has made significant strides providing essential legal services and defending civil rights, while advocating for Arab Americans. We'll dive deeper in those accomplishments shortly. I also encourage each of you to take a moment to look through the brochure provided at your tables. It contains valuable information about your programs and the sponsors who stand with us with ACRL in our mission. Now, additionally, you can learn more about the organization's initiatives by scanning the QR code on your table. This will direct you to our newly revamped website, where you can discover more about the ongoing projects and ways you can contribute. The board and staff of ACRL have organized an evening filled with celebrations and recognitions. And so, indeed, there is much to be proud of. But first, let us stand for our national anthem. I would like to invite Sherry Gay Den Yogo to the stage, please.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets were clear, the bombs bursting gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the and the home of the brave? Free Palestine!
Sherry, that was amazing. Thank you so much. All right, now I invite you all to turn your attention to the screens on either side of the room as we present a special video. This presentation will showcase the significant milestones and impactful stories from the Arab American Civil Rights League and protection. Testament together in our fight for justice.
Thank you for joining us for the ACRL 12th Annual Fight for Justice Gala.
We have raised our voices of dissent against
How dare you
war.
talk about this community and say that we're a jihadist state?
Justice isn't just for one population. Justice is for all.
My name is Miriam Sharara, Executive Director of the Arab American Civil Rights League.
My name is James Allen. I'm the chairman of the ACRL.
Turning to be a founder of the Arab American Civil Rights League.
The ACRL, the Arab American Civil Rights League, was established in 2011. There was a higher need to defend and advocate for the rights of Arab Americans and Muslims nationwide due to the increase of Islamophobia and the increase of hate and bigotry, discrimination, and stereotypes. We can make sure that our United States citizens aren't suffering anymore. They have some kind of, comfort. We are a force with a dynamic board behind us. The dynamic force is all about bringing attention worldwide on important aspects and important issues that are happening.
Back here at home late this afternoon, the Arab American Civil Rights League filed a lawsuit in federal court.
I say no more. No more.
It's just about humanity and about the effect of human nature and try to help each and every one of us, each and every one of those individuals that are stuck.
We, work together to create a resource center, to create a safe place for people to get answers, to help them, to educate them, to promote diversity, to promote inclusion, and to ensure justice. And justice isn't just for one population. Justice is for all.
The ACRL collaborates with authorities at all levels to promote awareness and combat negative stereotypes. We advocate for equitable policies and governance, ensuring equal representation in both government and the private sector. Additionally, we stand with civil and public leaders to safeguard the fundamental right to vote in communities like Lansing, without fear or intimidation. Beyond our legal battles, ACRL champions the rights of students confronting discrimination in schools, ensuring an inclusive and supportive educational environment for all. As we navigate courtrooms, ACRL collaborates with congressional delegates and the federal government, advocating for a transparent process that safeguards our nation without infringing on the rights of innocent citizens. Over the years, we've fiercely represented hundreds of victims across all ages and establishments, leaving an indelible mark on the fight for justice and equality. From schools to communities, courts to corporations, and every issue shaping our nation, ACRL stands as your unwavering advocate, tirelessly upholding the Constitution for all. With your steadfast support, we will persist in safeguarding the civil rights of Arab Americans, championing due process, and ensuring equal protection under the law for every individual.
So ACRL, Nabiya Yah, Naxal Board of Directors, City of Dearborn, Arabs, African Americans, everybody else that want to join us, we must keep educating, keep advocating, keep monitoring, keep adjudicating, keep uplifting, keep securing, keep defending the cause of justice, the cause of unity, and the cause of liberty.
Together, we forge a path toward a more just and equitable society.
That was a great video indeed. And the beauty of this is that the fact that you guys are all here together in this one room, you guys all understand the importance of fighting for justice and also the great work the ACRL is continuing to do when it comes to fighting for justice. And speaking of that, I want to turn to, here we go. Honor and introduce someone who is at the forefront of these advocacy battles. Since taking the helm as executive director, Mariam Sharar has been a relentless champion for those often overlooked by society, whether it's combating workplace discrimination or shining a light on the mental health challenges within our community. Mariam's background as a social worker and her dedication as a civil rights activist have propelled ACRL's mission forward. Please join me in welcoming to the stage the Arab American Civil Rights League's Executive Director, Mariam Shirar.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests and members of the Arab American Civil Rights League. My name is Mariam Shirar. As the Executive Director of ACRL, it is my privilege to welcome you all here tonight. Over the past 12 years, the ACRL has been a leading organization fighting to promote the civil rights of the Arab American community. Our organization has led multiple high-profile campaigns from fighting Islamophobia to racial profiling. ACRL has never shied away from the hard work of protecting our community. While our community and organization have experienced many challenges over the past few years, nothing could have prepared us for what we have endured over the past 8 months. Since October, our brothers and sisters in Palestine have endured unimaginable pain and suffering during the latest of a never-ending war over their land. I'm sure each and every one of us in this room has opened our phones and has seen horrific scenes coming from Gaza. And I'm sure each of us had a particular video or image that has stayed with you since you saw it. For me, it was a video I watched very early in the war. It was a mother holding her dying child in an overcrowded hospital hallway, crying out to the cameraman asking, "When will the world help us?" Her question burned inside me and has never left. Fueled by her mother's plea for help and the plea of so many others in Gaza, in early November, the ACRL board made a bold and daring decision. We would do everything in our ability to help the people of Gaza. 3 weeks after the war started, we launched the Gaza Family Project to help Palestinian Americans reunite with their loved ones in Gaza. We have worked with over 45 families from across the country to rescue their injured and traumatized loved ones from the war zone. Through federal advocacy and media campaigns, we have been able to accomplish multiple complex rescues to many vulnerable people inside Gaza and advance policy changes to help Palestinian Americans reunite with their loved ones. I'm proud to share some of these accomplishments. So far, through our congressional advocacy, we have been able to rescue 145 loved ones from Gaza and continue to fight for 223 loved ones still trapped in the war zone. We have also helped rescue more than 25 injured children and orphans from Gaza. We have been able to amplify the voice of Palestinian Americans and their families' fight in major news outlets, including New York Times, CBS, and Washington Post. We have had our clients meet with the White House officials to plead for a ceasefire and the rescue of their family members. And we have been the leading advocate to promote a new refugee and parole program that would permit Palestinians to resettle here in the U.S., where they can be safe with their American families. While I am proud of the hard work and impact we have made saving the lives of so many Palestinians, we know there is so much more to do. The people of Gaza still call out the question, when will the world help us? And so we must never stop fighting to answer that question. Thank you.
Folks, as we continue with tonight's program, let's take a moment to appreciate the tremendous support that makes ACRL's work possible. The organization is deeply grateful for the generosity of the community and the sponsors. Tonight, I'm thrilled to acknowledge our exceptional underwriters. A special thank you goes to the Team Wellness Center, a great supporter of the ACRL, based in Detroit, that provide comprehensive mental health services across Southeast Michigan, offering everything from psychiatry and primary care to substance abuse treatment and faith-based interventions. Team Wellness Center is also behind Michigan Healthy Mind, a weekly television show dedicating to discussing the challenges affecting our mental and physical well-being right here in the community. So now please turn your attention to the screens for a brief video showcasing the impactful work of Team Wellness Center.
I'm so sorry. We actually had a video for the Gaza Family Project.
Oh, so
I'm so sorry.
we apologize. There's an additional video, so you guys should be happy. There's more content. So let's play that video first, and we'll come back to this one.
Yeah, thank you so much. Let's do that.
It's so bad. Life here is so bad. I can't handle it.
Family from Livonia is still stuck in the Gaza Strip after trying to escape the war.
There are still hundreds of Americans still trapped.
There are Americans also trying to get out.
Families of Americans who are stuck in Gaza are pleading with the U.S. government to help bring them home.
So it seems very, very hard for us to get out of here.
I just hope and pray that the government does something to be able to open up those borders, to get them out.
We're calling upon our Secretary of State, our Secretary of Defense, to take some action to make sure that these individuals are secure.
The Arab American Civil Rights League, the family filed a lawsuit against the government, alleging it has failed to help them evacuate, accusing the state and defense departments of discriminating against them and other American citizens in Gaza.
It's so stressful. My kids are so scared, very terrified. My son didn't sleep at all last night.
American citizens can get out of Gaza. That's my wish.
Families also have signified how the situation is getting worse, so we have to take immediate action.
The first people from Gaza are being allowed out of the Gaza Strip through the Rafah crossing into Egypt, into safety.
That attorneys, civil rights leaders, and government officials from here in Metro Detroit have now been partnering with one another to bring back more than 60 people from harm's way in Gaza. That effort led by the Arab American Civil Rights League.
People we encounter every day in this region have been shamelessly abandoned by their government.
This is exactly what our lawsuits at ACRL have been about.
This video here captures the emotional moment when Nayla first reunited with her son back here on U.S. soil.
An American father is waiting to be reunited with his family after they finally escaped Gaza yesterday.
It was absolutely ecstatic. It's hard to describe.
The family thanked the Arab Civil Rights League and Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib, who they say worked tirelessly making calls and filing lawsuits to get them to safety.
I'm happy to be here, just all my mind back home with my kids and my family.
Increasingly desperate to get his mother out of Gaza, Fadi turned to the Michigan-based Arab American Civil Rights League.
The ACRL helped me flee the war in Gaza and be reunited with my sons in the United States. I will forever be grateful to them.
They're trying to get loved ones out now. There are thousands right now that are trying to.
And another important video to not only, I'm sure it's hard to watch, but more than that, it's also important to recognize the community that's impacted at large. I mean, what obviously in Palestine and Gaza, but even beyond that, folks here as well, family members, friends, who go through and hear stories, watch videos and pictures of something like that is never easy. So, you know, this is something that we need to keep in mind whenever we're out and about and thinking about like what folks over there are going for. Gives us more power to fight for justice here and around the world as well. And we're good with that video? All right, perfect. So pivoting to the Team Wellness Center, one of the big supporters for ACRL. We're going to play that video right now, so please watch. an event isn't complete if you don't have technical issues, right? So let's round of applause for folks who are making this happen, all right? All right, so while we sort out that video, let's have Team Wellness Center CEO Tony Policella to come on stage and share some words.
You know, I was going to come up here. I had some great thoughts, a few witty remarks that I was going to make, but following that video, I just don't have it in me. So all that I can say is thank you all to the ACRL, my brother Nabi Ayad, Jim Allen, Nassar Beydoun, Sam Beydoun, Mariam, and the rest of the folks here at ACRL for all that you do. God bless you all.
Thank you, Tony. Do we have the video ready? So we definitely want to see Team Wellness Center video, especially that we've teased it for so long, like at least 3 times now. We almost have to watch it. All right, so as we work on that, remember this night, once again, is to honor everyone in this room and outside who's not a part of this event or not able to make it, folks that are fighting for justice and advocating for justice, advocating for folks who don't have a voice. You guys are their voice. You guys are their support system. So a round of applause for all you guys in here for being part of this great event and pushing the mission forward. All right, so we're gonna move on to the next guest that we have, and it's not Jim Allen, is it? Okay, well, I gotta jump to the next one over here then. So let's introduce the man at the helm of ACRL's leadership, Jim Allen. Jim not only embodies legal excellence, but also carries immense pride in his Lebanese heritage. As the grandson of a Lebanese immigrant, his commitment to his roots is profound. He has served as a dedicated board member of the Arab American Civil Rights League for over a decade, tirelessly advocating for justice and civil rights. Ladies and gents, please join me to welcoming Chairman of the ACRL, Jim Allen.
For those of you expecting me to sing tonight, you're going to be awfully disappointed. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and fallen microphones and honorees, as we gather tonight, we stand not just in celebration, but in defiance. We stand in defiance of a world where the value of human life has been undermined, where the cries of the oppressed are drowned out by the cacophony of war machines, and where the ideals of justice and liberty are subjugated to the interests of a few. We must confront the harsh truths and moral obscenities of our time with unflinching candor and with righteous indignation. This past year has been a testament to our resolve and our unwavering belief in the sanctity of human life. But it has also been a year that has laid bare the grotesque failures of our government and the pernicious forces that undermine our democracy. We have witnessed a descent into barbarism in Gaza, a place where human dignity is trampled underfoot by the judgment of military aggression and political cowardice. We have borne witness to the unfolding horrors in Gaza, a war zone where innocent lives are caught in the crossfire of callous and cruel geopolitical ambitions and sheer inhumanity. Let us not mince words. What is unfolding in Gaza is a genocide, an ethnic cleansing masquerading as military necessity. Our hearts are heavy with the knowledge of the atrocities committed, but our spirits remain unbroken. People the world over, from every conceivable walk of life and background, sing with one voice. Ana Damne Palestine. But not only that, Damne Kulne Palestine. It has been this voice that has inspired us to expand our mission beyond addressing acts of domestic discrimination. And let us not forget that we are in the midst of domestic discrimination. We did not sit idly by, nor did we offer empty platitudes. Instead, we acted with purpose and conviction. We mobilized dozens of attorneys who offered their expertise pro bono for free because their cause was just. They filed lawsuits in federal district courts from sea to shining sea, from the Atlantic to the Pacific. We have facilitated the rescue of hundreds of souls from the hellish maw of war. ACRL's Gaza Family Project filed humanitarian parole petitions on behalf of Palestinian American families, offering them a lifeline of hope. They were desperately in need of that. Our actions are not the mere annoyance of legal maneuvering that Mr. Dershowitz calls lawfare. No. They are acts of moral clarity. Yet our own government stands indicted in the court of moral decency. By arming and supporting those who perpetuate these heinous acts, our own president, who many of us voted for, has become a willing accomplice to murder. Woe to those who enact evil statutes and to those who consistently record unjust actions, the book of Isaiah admonishes. Yet our so-called leaders have become the very embodiment of this ancient curse. The fish rots from the head down before our very eyes. This betrayal is compounded by the pernicious influence of dual loyalties, where our elected officials nakedly serve not the American people, but foreign interests. Our nation's foreign policy is a sordid mess, mangled by those who, in Orwell's chilling words, embody the ignorance is strength creed of 1984. How did we not see it coming? Meanwhile, Our universities, once bastions of free thought, now capitulate to the demands of censorship and repression. Our youth are being threatened. Their futures are being threatened by the forces of regression. Aldous Huxley's Brave New World warned us of a future where truth is drowned in a sea of irrelevance. We are living in that future. We consume a seemingly endless supply of bread and circus, while the voices of truth are silenced, and dissent is met with persecution, or worse yet, indifference. Despite these grim realities, we find hope in the steadfast courage of our honorees. Tonight, we honor those who have stood with us in this struggle. Let us take this moment to reaffirm our commitment to justice. Let us not fear. Let us not be silent. Let us continue to speak truth to power, to stand against tyranny, and to fight for the rights of all who are oppressed, here and abroad. Let us thank each of our honorees for their commitment to the cause of justice and peace. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, all of you. Your efforts pave the way for a more just and humane world. As the Holy Quran and the Talmud say, those who save one life save the world. Thanks to all of you, let us continue to pray for peace, and let us all work for justice. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. That was powerful, impactful. Now, when it comes to support fueling ACRL's mission, I'd like to now introduce you Specialty Medical Center. That's our second underwriter for tonight, renowned for exceptional patient care and comprehensive rehab services. They're committed to personalized treatment plans that address each patient's unique needs, ranging from diagnostic testing to advanced regenerative medicine. So let's take a look at that video real quick.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Specialty Medical Center. Did you know that according to the CDC, about 50 million Americans suffer from chronic pain? Of these, around 19.6 million Americans have high-impact chronic pain, which frequently limits life or work activities. Did you know that as of the latest data, chronic pain affects approximately 20% of adults in Michigan, underscoring the urgent need for targeted healthcare interventions? These highlight the necessity for comprehensive healthcare solutions to manage chronic conditions and support the health and wellness of our aging population. At Specialty Medical Center, we offer a range of services tailored to the unique needs of older adults. The need for rehabilitation services and chronic pain management is critical for enhancing the quality of life and overall well-being of older adults. These services help individuals regain mobility and function, manage pain effectively, and maintain their independence. Now let's hear from one of our patients about how our services have made a difference in their lives.
Ever since I herniated 2 discs in my back, I woke up in pain, I spent the day in pain, and I went to bed in pain. Everything I did was centered around pain. As a traveling filmmaker, I'm constantly on the move in challenging environments and pushing my body's limits. I'm hanging out of helicopters, I'm hauling gear through airports, and I'm constantly carrying heavy gear on my back to get into remote locations. Having such an active job compounds my injuries. When I first met Dr. Bashir, I could tell he was truly one of the most compassionate people I've ever met. He really does have a big heart. He recommended a PRP procedure on my neck and my back for my herniated disc. Due to the severity of my injury, he recommended follow-up procedures, and I've noticed improvement every time.
When Blake had come to me, he'd kind of become to accept the limitations in his life, that he'd begun to lose hope. When I began to talk to him about regenerative medicine and this new technology, being able to use the body's own cells and platelets to promote repair, he instantly resonated with it and began to be hopeful.
There's no cutting, there's no reattaching. You're using your body's own cells to heal your injury. The procedure was near painless, and I walked out the same day. I'm so glad I got to avoid surgery and catch my injury before it got any worse.
By giving our patients' bodies the power to heal themselves, we are using modern technology and medicine to heal not just humanity and future generations, but every generation. Join our cause and help Specialty fight the drug epidemic in our communities. Here at Specialty Medical Center, we believe that if pain is inevitable, then suffering is optional.
And with that, let's invite to the stage Dr. David Fernandez, a key figure at Specialty Medical Center. A round of applause.
Good evening. To our honorees from Specialty Medical Center, we congratulate you. We're very proud of the work that you have done. My name is David Fernandez. I'm an orthopedic spine surgeon and the medical director for Specialty Medical Center. But you know, I want to say that it is an honor to be here among such a distinguished audience. As I look around and I see people from all walks of life coming together for the common good of the community, it gives me hope. It gives me hope for my children and for my grandchildren. And I got to tell you, as a brand new first-time grandfather of a beautiful baby girl, this means even more to me. On behalf of the Specialty Medical Center, I want to give a special congratulations to our own Yusuf Ahmadrahi, our CEO and founder. You know, Yusuf and I have a couple of things in common, maybe more. One is that I'm a little bit older than him, and two is that we both came to this country as children. Neither one of us spoke a word of English, got thrown into the school systems, and Yusuf, look where hard work and dedication and love for your fellow man has gotten today. We are very, very proud of you. You know, the principles that earned Yusuf this prestigious award are the principles that Specialty Medical Center has been founded upon. And these principles are some of the reasons that I chose to become part of Specialty Medical Center. And that is because at our facility, we put people first. The patient is our focus. We focus on what we can do to get the patient better and back to function, back to do things with the family, back to work to provide for their families as fast as is feasibly possible. We want to treat them like we would want to be treated, like our families we want to be treated. And when he was taking me around, showing me the center, I appreciated the happiness I saw in those that work there. We make effort and strive to have a community in our center that's inclusive so that everyone who works there can feel that they are part of the family. I also liked Yusuf's commitment to be active in and give back to the community. My family has gone on a variety of different mission trips, medical mission trips around to different countries. And my wife, Lisbeth, and I do that because we want to give back. But we also wanted our children to go with us and learn what it means to give back to other people, what it means to give of themselves. And I'm very proud that they have gone on various trips with us. They need to know that they have a responsibility to their fellow man. So this desire to serve really resonated with me. Especially, we want to make a difference. We are more than just a clinic and surgery center. We're more than just one of the top regenerative medicine clinics in Michigan. And to this end, we reach out to our community. We sponsor youth soccer leagues, cheerleaders. We sponsor different community events. We sponsored health mission trips, and we are always looking to do more. What else can we do? We work with grassroots organizations. We work with the Marines Toys for Tots. We work on at the grassroots level, and in the wintertime, we donate warm clothing to those that are in need. These are just some of the variety of different things that we do for our community. We take a great interest in our youth. Whenever I have a patient who's a young person, I take a few extra minutes to try to educate them on healthful living, to encourage them to avoid all these substances that are out there now that will damage their bodies and damage their potential to become someone in the community that will have a good job in working with others. We sponsored orphans for health and education needs. We sponsored podcasts that focus on the young people to educate them on healthful living and making proper choices. We are known for giving back to the community, and I am proud to be part of Specialty. To tonight's recipients of this prestigious award, your hard work and your dedication and selfless giving have not gone unnoticed. Your talents for the work you have done have been a blessing from God. We are all better because of the efforts that you have done. Affecting change, it's not easy, is it? It's not easy. But it can also be lonely. But you know what? It begins one person at a time. One idea at a time. And I would leave with you, as Churchill is quoted as saying, never, never give up. May God continue to give you strength and blessings as you continue to look out for those who are in need. Thank you.
All right, moving on to the next distinguished person that I want to call. He is an important pillar for the Arab American Civil Rights League. They call him a true trailblazer in the defense of civil rights. He's a visionary leader who turned his dream into powerful reality. I like to call him the Batman of ACRL because his courage and dedication have shaped the landscape of civil rights advocacy. So, ladies and gents, put your hands together for ACRL's attorney and founder, Nabi Ayad.
Good evening, everyone. I don't know if my brother Tony Policello is still here. We really, truly apologize. He just walked off, all right. So again, we apologize. Sometimes there's technical difficulties that happens. It's happened God knows how many times. So we truly apologize for that because we know how precious you are to keeping our doors open in these challenging times. That being said, I want to thank everyone for being here this evening. Please bear with us. It is a little longer program this year. And this is not your average year. So excuse us if it's a bit longer this year. We have so many that have done so much during these historic times. We worked so hard as hell to get between you and the food this evening, but we're trying to start that off to happen between now and later this evening. I want to first thank and congratulate our Executive Director, Miriam Sharara. She has been working so hard, not just this event tonight, which is exhausting in and of itself, but the complaints that come in each and every day to the ACRL office that she has to handle, and yet she still finds time to save lives with the work in Gaza and the Gaza project that's been happening. So again, please give her a round of applause. She's been so hard. I also want to thank our chairman, Jim Allen. I promised him when he asked, is there a lot of work as being chairman? I said, no, Jim. It's not a lot of work, not a lot of going on. You'll be fine. A few hours a week, you're good. And Lord behold, Gaza happened. And that is an absolute lie. I think he knows that right now, Jim. So we love you, Jim. Thank you for standing up. Thank you for taking on the cause, especially in these challenged times. Desperate times call for desperate measures, and Jim Allen rose to the occasion. So thank you, Jim. Please give a round of applause to Jim Allen. I want to thank and congratulate all our awardees this evening. I want you to know that we're here at ACRL. We just don't give awardees out like pancakes. We normally give out 2 to 3 awards a year at an event. But this year is truly a unique year. It's indeed special. An award from ACRL says something very strongly. You are all on the right side of history. So, God bless you over the 60 attorneys that have volunteered their time across this nation for ACRL and saved lives. God bless you all, but it takes a special type of courage and heart to stand up during these challenging times. To our Jewish brothers and sisters, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Please applaud them. We love you. Never again meant never again for all people. Thank you, Joshua, wherever you are. I still have to. Joshua, thank you, my brother. Thank you so much. And thank Dr. Keller. They couldn't be here tonight from New York University School of Medicine. Thank you to our Jewish brothers and sisters that are standing with us this evening and standing up for humanity. We see you, we hear you, we love you. God bless you, because you are more important than anything else that this community has done, because you stand. And I know it takes a great amount of courage for you to do what you do. Thank you, and you are on the right side of history. God bless you. We have some of our friends here tonight that tell our stories. My brother Chuck Stokes. Chuck, thank you for always telling our stories. And thank you and all the activity and always speaking truth to power. Quite frankly, brother, I didn't know you had that kind of clout in Channel 7 ABC News, where you allowed me to say genocide. You allowed me to say all these words that a lot of media just cut out. So I appreciate you, brother, and I appreciate that you're standing on the right side of history. Simon Shaykat and his wonderful wife, Veronica's here this evening. Thank you, my brother Simon. Always true to the community, always trusted the community. We appreciate you for all that you do. Faraz, you're doing a wonderful job. We love you, and we understand. We'll tell Mike Murray you probably need a raise of all what you're doing. So, keeping our doors open to a nonprofit is not a small task. It takes hard work. And everyone, can you please, if anyone is talking, can you please just give us a little time? All right, this is a very important event, a very important situation, what's going on around the world this evening, and all the genocide that's happening. We can give a little quiet, please, and appreciate all these individuals that have been fighting for this community and speaking truth to power. So please just give us a little time, all right? We know it's a long program, but nothing that is compared to what's going on in Gaza. Keeping our doors open to our nonprofit is not a small task. It takes hard work, dedication, and sponsors, and believe in the cause. I want to thank all our sponsors, especially our underwriters. Yusuf Al-Madrahi, thank you, my brother, for always being there, and Tony Palacello. They have always come through year after year for this organization. We appreciate all that you do. Thank you. Please give a round of applause for Yusuf and Tony Palacello. I want to especially thank our dear friend to the community, Senator Sylvia Santana. She is here with us tonight. Senator Santana has done so much to help with not only this organization's mission, but with a number of community organizations in the Arab American community. From advocacy to healthcare to this community, Senator Santana's heart and love for our community is appreciated. Senator, please stand up and be recognized for your wonderful work and dedication. Please recognize Senator Santana. The Senator, we couldn't do it. We couldn't do in the last 8 months that we had to endure as the Arab American Civil Rights League, hiring attorneys around the country, over 60 attorneys filing in 22 states around the country, providing the plaintiffs, providing even sometimes the complaint fees without your dedication and support and your grant that you provide through the state. We really appreciate you and love you for all the work that you've done. I think a lot of appreciation needs to go to you. So thank you, Senator, for all that you do. And with that, I can tell you, Senator, we saved over 70 families from Gaza to be able to come back here and survive the genocide that's happened in Gaza. So again, we appreciate you. Our former chairman, Nasser Beydoun, where are you, Nasser? Here you are, all right. To my brother Nasser, he is making a few brief remarks this afternoon, and I mean brief, Nasser, but remarks. So as you know by now, he's running for the United States Senate. All right, Nasser, you can give applause to that. I told him, Nasser, you know, you have a shot so long as, and only so long as, you don't make no jokes, Nasser. You'll be all right? So, no jokes for Nasser. All right. To my wonderful girlfriend and my partner, Nicole Sadler, thank you for putting up with me, and thank you for being here, and thank you for all the events that you have to attend. I love you, and thank you. All right. To our board member, Amr Zahir, my brother. Where's he at? Where's Amr at? All right, there you go. Okay. All right, Amr, listen, I know you're loud, brother, and that's okay. We love you. You know, we can all talk about what we would do if it was us. But when you're in a Palestinian brother or sister, you've earned your God-given right to be as loud as you want to be. As yesterday marked the 76th year of the Nakba, and we are still here, 76 years later, witnessing live our Palestinian brothers and sisters being slaughtered as entire families and neighborhoods are being wiped out from the face of this earth. Even in the dead have not been pardoned in Gaza. So excuse them if they are loud and demonstrating impure, blatant genocide is going on in real life. So thank you, Amr, for standing for civility, thank you for humanity, and we love you, brother. We have to stand behind you even more so. Lastly, I want to thank the students, all the students that are, please, yes, please demonstrate, thank you. It's funny, you know, they're out there demonstrating and doing encampments across the country and around the world. And the administrations and law enforcement are beating them down for simply standing up to a genocide. You want to teach them morals and education and be a good principled citizen and how you should handle your life when you graduate moving from the universities. Yet, you strike them down when you go out and exercise it in real life. God bless the students. Their moral compass is untouched and they're pure. They have not been tainted by the evils of the world. It has always been the students. They've always been on the right side of history. From the Vietnam War to the ending apartheid in South Africa, to the Black Lives Matter movement, to now standing up against the last known apartheid nation in the world to free Palestine. Hey, you tables have turned. The tables have turned. How the students now have become the teachers in reminding us all of our moral humanity to each other. Thank you, students. We love you. We stand behind you. Keep fighting the fight, because you are the true patron of democracy and freedom and civil rights around the world. And lastly, I say this. Love one another. If we can just stop and love one another and keep the warmongers out of our society, what a beautiful world it can be. It is a pure fact that when we are all born, we don't harbor the hate, the racism, and the bigotry we see around the world. But we are taught these horrible traits from a young age. There is no difference between a Muslim child, a Jewish child, a Catholic child, a Christian child. They're all children. They're all children, for God's sake. We must all take a stand for humanity, for all people. Martin Luther King Jr. said, and I quote, "At the end, it's not the words of our enemies that you will remember. Indeed, it is the silence of our friends. That's who you're going to remember." That's what hurts the most. When our friends are standing on the side, you can talk to any Jewish brother and sister, and they can tell you during the Holocaust, the Germans, they knew, they smelled the odor of death in those concentration camps. They knew what was going on. But they did nothing. Nothing. And history should not ever repeat itself. My friends, and I'll end with this, never again means never again for all people. Let's stand together in humanity and weed out evil wherever it shows its ugly face. I assure you, wherever it shows its ugly face, ACRL will be right there staring back down in that ugly face. Be that person that when your kids or your grandkids ask you, Dad, Mom, Grandpa, Grandma, what did you do when the genocide was happening in Palestine? You can tell them we were right here advocating for the Arab American Civil Rights League and standing and taking action against genocide. So thank you, and please stay true to your humanity, and let's work together. These are challenging times, and I apologize for the long evening, but these are not normal times. So please bear with us. We love you all. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Nabi. There was some really important takeaways from your speech, and the biggest one is for me getting a raise, Nabi, so make sure you send an email to my boss. All right, so we've reached out, or we've reached rather, to the highlight of our evening, which is the award ceremony. And it's a time to celebrate those who have exemplified a steadfast commitment to justice throughout their lives. So with that, I'd like to call ACRL board member and CEO of MEATV, Wally Jadon, to present the Lifelong Pursuit of Justice Award.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, supporter of ACRL, good evening. My name is Wally Jadon. I'm a board member of ACRL, a proud board member of CRL, and the CEO of MEATV, Middle Eastern American TV and radio, which we broadcast in every state in the nation through Cox, through Dish Network, through many things. We have over 220,000 daily viewers. I'm here to introduce Joshua Feinstein. Joshua Feinstein is a Jewish American peace activist movement. A native of New York, the Jewish community, who majority of them not supporting the government, the administration of Netanyahu. And in Israel, 60 to 70% of the Jewish people, they against that war. That war killing the children, innocent children and women. Yes, Hamas did a mistake by killing some Jewish surrounding the Gaza Strip. But what Netanyahu and his administration doing, it's a crime against humanity. And thanks to people like Joshua, who stand together with the Palestinian, Christian, Jewish, with the African American, with all the Arab American organization, in one voice against this war. And he was the first Jewish when the war started in October 2023. He was the first Jewish to ask for ceasefire, to stop the war, to stop the killing of children. And for him, Free Palestine inspired from a quote by the late, great Martin Luther King Jr. And justice anywhere is against justice everywhere. For that, we inspire as ACRL to defend the civil rights of not just the Middle Eastern community or the Arab American community, but the civil right of any human. The dignity of a human is the job of ACRL to defend it. Thanks for your support, and please give me a hard welcome to one of our biggest supporting Jewish community, Joshua Feinstein. Joshua?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. I think as we start, I just want to clarify that I was not indeed the first person to speak out, but I certainly was one of the first to speak out as a non-Zionist. So, as I'm standing in front of all of you tonight, I'll tell you, my God, I am really, really grateful and truly humbled to stand before you and to have the respect and trust of this beautiful community is truly an immense honor. You see, we have been on a journey together of painful enlightenment, one filled with horrors and cruelty and suffering, but one wherein there is also a beacon of hope that we can raise from the ashes of this modern day Nakba. And it is all because of all of you. Together, we have faced immeasurable aggression and turned this vigil into one of the most beautiful and multiracial, multi-ethnic coalitions of our generation, a movement where we protect one another and are protective of each other. Palestinians, Muslims, African Americans, Christians, Jews, and of course, Arab Americans. We literally have become family. And standing together right here tonight in Michigan, we are saying, not in our name. You see, because of every one of you, the world is now awake. Together, we led an uncommitted movement that saw 100,000 votes here in Michigan, and the nation followed. The student revolution, 160 university encampments worldwide. And we have proven that Zionists do not speak for the Jewish community. And we have proven that Arab Americans are indeed the fabric and heart of a great American society. And we have proven that together, our coalition is the most noble and virtuous that this nation has to offer. And finally, conditioning aid to an apartheid regime is now more mainstream than ever. And we have spoken out against all these odds And thanks to the tireless work of organizations such as the ACRL, they will not be able to silence us anymore. Thank you. So here we are, together, once again, at the crossroads of time, but with the power of community. So we ask ourselves, what do we do now? Well, I'll tell you. First, there is much talk, maybe too much talk, of the presidential race at the top of the ticket. But the reality is that we live in the down ballot races. Our schools, education, drinking water, even our free speech, all decided locally. Here in Southeast Michigan, there are at least 10 electoral races that, as we speak, will decide who represents us in U.S. Congress and the state legislature, and even school and city boards and those positions. So, as I stand before you, I implore you, continue volunteering your time and resources. No act is too small when it comes to standing up and speaking out. The moment and momentum is ours for the taking. Channel this vitality and guide the hand of history and the future, my friends. It is yours. To quote the great Lebanese poet Gibran, it is when you give of yourself that you truly give. And I commit to you to continue doing everything within my power and with all my heart and nerve and sinew to serve this righteous cause. And we will not rest until the entire world and all races and all religions can stand in one voice and say, never again means never again. Not just for the Jewish people, but for everyone and anyone, everywhere. Thank you. It's an honor. Thank you. Good night. Thank you.
All right, moving on to the next award, and for that I would like to welcome Magistrate and Vice Chair of the ACRL, Mona Fadlallah, to present the Courage in Public Service Award to a distinguished leader who has exemplified bravery and integrity.
Good evening. Thank you all for being here. It is my honor today to present the Courage in Public Service Leadership Award to Congressman Ro Khanna. Congressman Ro Khanna is serving his 4th term, so there's no light up here, is serving his 4th term in California's 17th District, and we're grateful for him to be here today because of the position he's taken in Congress and some of his votes for a permanent ceasefire in Gaza. Congressman Khanna, I can't see where you're, okay, great. Come on up and accept your award. There's so much more to say, but I'm sure he's going to do a phenomenal job introducing himself.
Thank you, Mona. That's the best introduction I've ever had, short. I always tell people, keep it short. I want to thank Jim first. Jim, thank you for your courage, and Miriam. You know, they said to me, I said outside to Jim and Miriam, you're saving lives. You're saving lives. And that's what Nabi, the founder, thank you for your words. And thank you to all of you for what you're doing to save lives in Gaza, for Palestinian Americans, for Palestinians, for human beings. And that's why I'm so honored to receive an award from this organization here today. But I fear that these awards that recognize the advocacy for liberalism and pluralism are, frankly, in our times, floating in an ocean of shouting matches and dishonest attacks that have engulfed modern American political discourse. While I was outside with Jim, people were coming up, taking pictures, and they said, "Congressman, how are we going to get actual change in America given all the forces aligned against us?" So tonight, I'm not going to tell you maybe all that you want to hear. I hope some of what you want to hear, but I come with honesty, and I come with humility to try to answer that question of how we go forward. I come with humility to plead for a new approach to political dialogue in America. And I come here today with the same exact message I would bring if I were speaking in front of the AJC or the ADL to a group of Jewish Americans. We need to find better ways of having difficult conversations in this country. We can begin by looking to the ever-fresh eyes of America's youth. And let me begin by making one thing clear. I am proud of the young people in America today. Despite the attention-grabbing headlines, the truth is, as Nabi said, that many of them are building multi-faith coalitions and respecting each other's tradition. Historically speaking, student-led movements have been the conscience of America, challenging injustice abroad, whether it was Vietnam, whether it was South Africa, whether it was Iraq, and they have challenged unjust norms here at home, whether it was civil rights, whether it was women's rights, whether it was gay rights. And today, students are doing the same thing. Today, students, Jews and Arabs, Muslims and Christians, Hindus and non-believers are coming together to insist that America speak up for justice for Palestine and for an end to this brutal war. How then can we have conversations in America with a shared condemnation, as speaker after speaker has shared here, for the horrific October 7th Hamas attacks and kidnapping, a reckoning with the deep loss of what has transpired since, and a respect for the stories and struggles, for the traumas and tears of Arab Americans and Jewish Americans. At a time of campus protests that have echoes to what we saw during Vietnam, we must begin with the lessons of Kent State and Jackson State. Our nation must always stand up for free speech, whether that speech is critical of Israel, of Hamas, or America itself. Criticism of the policies of government in power is neither a rejection of patriotism nor an expression of bigotry. An open society like ours is designed for sharp disagreement and controversy. But the defense of dissent does not absolve us of the moral responsibility to call out those who devolve into toxic and vile threats against Jews, Muslims, or any ethnic group. Prejudice is not a form of discussion. We have to find a way to allow and celebrate freedom of speech on campuses in spaces where protests should be given leeway, such as the quads or lawns, without blocking access to classrooms. A way to allow speech without turning a blind eye to ugly intimidation, such as spitting or cursing at students who wear yarmulkes or Star of David necklaces or attach an Israeli flag. Many in this room will be the first to identify with such concerns, especially if you've ever been harassed for wearing a hijab or a kofia or carrying a Palestinian flag. In the United States of America, every student, Muslim or Jewish, on every campus should feel free to express their religious and cultural identity without being harassed or targeted. We can all agree on that. More pointedly, just because certain speech might be protected doesn't mean that the speech is constructive or thoughtful. Yelling Hamas sympathizer or Iranian proxy to students making the case against occupation is not only slanderous, but it perpetuates the worst tropes of Islamophobia and anti-Arab stereotypes. Conversely, chanting Zionists don't deserve to live or Jews should leave is wrong and chilling given the history of anti-Semitism at universities in Europe and in America. My friends, if we're to move forward, the hubris of unexamined certainty rarely advances the cause of justice. The great leaders that have been invoked of civil disobedience like Gandhi and King and Mandela understood this. They did not engage in schoolyard taunts that dehumanized their opponents. Instead, they used language that opened their opponents' hearts and minds to change. They would call off large protests at even the hint of violent threats, recognizing that even a few provocateurs could undercut their moral authority. I know this because of my grandfather. You see, my grandfather spent 4 years in jail alongside Gandhi in India's independence movement. Amarnath Vidya Lankar was a practicer of satyagraha. Satyagraha is the pursuit of truth, and satyagrahis approach their adversary with no ill will, but with respect and love. Showing respect means understanding where someone is coming from, listening to their history, and making arguments in good faith to seek truth and justice. I believe that despite the ugliness of recent times, America is capable of respectful dialogue. I know that. I convened a small group at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, where a Jewish student who lost cousins on October 7th became emotional as she heard a Palestinian student speak about calling her mother every evening to find out how many more relatives she had lost at Gaza. That's something people in this room can understand. The two emerged shaken but with a sense of connection, and a number of other Arab and Jewish participants exchanged numbers after the roundtable and started a group chat. It may seem small, but it is for all of us to lift up that kind of dialogue for this nation to see. Consider this. America has become, in Frederick Douglass's words, a composite nation, a nation of all nations. Is there not hope for us now to be a balanced peacemaker, considering so many of the world's painful stories of subjugation and persecution have found a voice in our body politics? We have members of Congress like your next honoree, Rashida Tlaib, who have family members in Palestine, serving and conversing with members of Congress who lost family in the Holocaust. And a whole new generation with different cultural perspectives is on the cusp of serving and leading. That is a beautiful expression of American democracy. Let me end with this. I believe a new generation gives us hope for a new framework for the Middle East. I believe that if we can summon the discipline inspired by the moral giants of the past to listen and learn from each other, we may make progress. We must agree that there needs to be an end to the occupation of the West Bank and Gaza. We must further agree that the Palestinians need their own state and that the U.S. needs to recognize a Palestinian state that is continuous bilaterally and in the United Nations. Enough with the vetoes. Like Mandela, we should agree that the Jewish people have a right to a Jewish democratic state and that the state of Israel has a right to exist and be secure. And most importantly, we need a permanent ceasefire in Gaza today and a release of the hostages with an end to this war. We should agree that neither Iran nor Israel will ever succeed in wiping the other off the map, and that we need a new security architecture for the Middle East, where all states with different histories, religions, and cultures recognize the right of each other to live in peace and security. The United States should lead this diplomacy and help build this new architecture, because our success in building multilateral institutions and our commitment to pluralism at home and abroad needs to be unmatched. We are imprisoned today in our own status quo thinking about the Middle East, unable to talk to each other, unable to listen to each other. We let countries like China take the lead in brokering a détente between Saudi Arabia and Iran. The world is asking, where is America? What happened to American leadership? American leadership is not about cynically clinging to the world as it has been. It is about imagining the world as it could be. We dreamed up the United Nations. We built NATO. We secured the Camp David Accords. We convened the Madrid Conference seeking peace between Israel and Palestine. Where are the visionaries today? My friends, if we want progress, we need less shouters and more thinkers, more peacemakers. It may not be easy, but that is the only way forward. Our generation of Americans must step forward and offer new pathways to tackle the problems that have overwhelmed and confounded the current Washington powers that be. I have faith in our generation and many in this room, rooted as we are in cultures that have struggled for centuries simply to be heard and seen. With empathy and imagination, let us build a world that respects the dignity and self-determination of all people. And I close with this. If the conflicts and heartaches of the world have all found voice in our nation, then let it be said of our generation that confronted with this challenge, we found the way to healing and reconciliation, to building an America capable, not just in words but deeds, of fulfilling the Lincoln prophecy of a just and lasting peace for all nations. Thank you for this award.
Thank you, Brother Khan. That sounded like a presidential speech to me, and it's one of wonderful words, isn't it? Now I have the great pleasure of introducing our Commitment to Justice Award, Yusuf Al-Madrahi. Please, you can clap to that. Yes, you can go ahead and clap to that. A distinguished Arab American entrepreneur and a visionary founder of the Specialty Medical Center, is a leading figure in our community. His commitment to justice and humanity is evident through his work in healthcare and community service, making him the beacon of hope. At Specialty Medical Center, Yusuf has not only revolutionized the orthopedic and spine care, but also has spearheaded initiatives that create jobs and promote volunteerism. His dedication extends beyond traditional medical services, offering compassion and essential support to understanding communities. His pioneering work in regenerative medicine, including stem cell therapy, challenges traditional dependency on pharmaceuticals, addressing the opioid crisis, and enhancing the quality of life for countless individuals. Now, that's what your bio reads, Yusuf. But I'm going to talk about truth to power here. My brother Yusuf, this is a genuine individual. Look at this guy. I mean, honestly, not many of us could say in our 20s we've accomplished what this brother has accomplished. He is a true patron. He is a true believer in compassion. Each and every person that's crossed his road, crossed his path, has said, I've been blessed to meet Yusuf al-Madrahi. He treats people with dignity, integrity, honesty, and love as he comes across each and every individual. Iran must watch out, because this brother from the Yemeni community, from the Arab American community, he's a star, he's rising real fast. I will say invest in this guy's stock because he's the man. Yusuf, come on up, please, and accept this award.
Thank you, everyone. I had this speech to say, but in my dedication and commitment to our community, I have reduced my speech by 90%. So I'm here to urge you all to join the ACRL in this noble cause, to donate to this cause, to help the ACRL fight another fight, live another year. Thank you all for being here today. Thank you to Nabi, thank you to Miriam Sharara, and I thank you all for being here today.
Sure. All right, good evening, everybody. I know it's been a long night so far. You're going to get your food in a minute. Let's try this again. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. All right, turn your chairs around. Look towards the stage. We have our keynote speaker coming up. Please turn your chairs around and look towards the stage. My name is Amir Zahir. I'm very proud to be a board member of the Arab American Civil Rights League. Please put your forks down, look at us, look up here, turn your chairs around, look up here. Please stop eating for just 1 second. I know a couple of you have had food on the table. Please don't bring the food yet in the back. Some of you might know me in this community as the person who has been annoyingly talking about Palestine for years. And people always told me, why do you always talk about Palestine all the time? It is so that we could be prepared for the moment that we live in now. And we know as Palestinians and Arab Americans, because let's be clear, Palestine is not only for Palestinians, but for all Arab Americans. When they march down the street, they don't say death to turn the microphone up. When they march down the street, they don't say death to Palestinians, they say death to Arabs. And so we have to make sure that we're all standing up. And so we at the ACRL are very proud to clearly say, free Palestine from the river to the sea. And that means free for everybody. And that means we stand up for the truth. And we at the ACRL are very clear to say that Israel is an apartheid racist state committing a genocide on our people. And we have to make sure that we're always talking about the truth. And we say thank you to all the people who are standing up for justice in the world. We say thank you to our Iraqi brothers and sisters. We say thank you to our Lebanese brothers and sisters. We say thank you to our Yemeni brothers and sisters who put a little toll plaza in the Red Sea and said that there will be no business as usual under genocide. And I can't believe we still have to say this, but ceasefire now. We have to keep saying it all the time. And we say thank you to the ACRL, who's been standing up for truth since October 7th. We're not scared for one day to say that what is going on is a genocide, and we have to stand up for our people and stand up for the truth. And we especially say thank you in a very loud voice from here in Dearborn to our South African brothers and sisters who stood up for truth in the International Court of Justice. And standing up for truth brings me to our keynote speaker for this evening. This brother and I went to college together with my fellow board member Zaina Mackey a long time ago at the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. You see the students standing on campuses now doing their encampments. Well, we did that 25 years ago, but we were too old to have Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. And we sat in, I think Khaled remembers and Zaina remembers, we occupied the president's office at the University of Michigan. And we made sure that we were speaking truth then and that we were the forefathers of everything that's happening now. And our keynote speaker tonight has garnered millions of users on Instagram, and he's used that at much personal cost to himself to speak up for the truth and for justice in Palestine. Please put your forks down. Don't eat for a minute. I know you have food on your table. Please put your forks down. I'll wait. And this man has become not only a human rights lawyer, not only a professor at the top colleges in the world, a law professor, a scholar dedicated to the study of Arab Americans and Muslim Americans, but most importantly, he's from right here in Dearborn, Michigan. He is somebody who has taken the mantle of this community and taken it out to the world, all over the world, speaking everywhere. So please help me welcome our keynote speaker, someone who I'm proud to call a brother and a friend, our keynote speaker here tonight, Professor Khaled Beydoun.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's great to be here with all of you tonight. Round of applause for Ahmed Zahir. Round of applause for Ahmed. Ahmed isn't joking when he says that he is annoyingly persistent and incessant about always amplifying and centering Palestine long before these 223 days. Ahmed has always been very much at the forefront of making Gaza, of making Palestine, of making the dignity of Arab people ubiquitous and widely known. A round of applause to the awardees tonight. All of them are very deserving, and not only deserving because during these very difficult times, they've been unapologetic and they've been very courageous to speak on issues that the zeitgeist and that this government, the powers that be, have anointed as taboo. So I'm here, I've probably given hundreds of speeches in the last 223 days. Many of my speeches have been off the cuff, I've winged many of them. But considering that I'm at home, considering that I'm at just miles away from where I grew up, I thought that it would be imperative to write tonight's speech. First off, I want to thank the ACRL for the honor. It means even more to receive this distinction from an organization rooted here at home, from a born community I admire very deeply. Second, I want to thank my mom who's here. My mom raised me as a single mother in this very community. My wife Zemzem is who's here tonight, and they support me at every step. And I'm very thankful to have them both here by my side. There's a lot to say, obviously. We're living in very bleak, dark times, but I have a finite amount of time. One mistake that people typically do is they give a microphone to a law professor. We can be long-winded, but I promise I won't be that long. Before I begin speaking, I want to begin with a moment of silence, roughly 20 seconds of silence for the victims of genocide in Gaza. We are living in bleak times. We are living in genocidal times. For the past 7 months, it has been impossible to divide the routine parts and passages of life here in America with the apocalyptic travails in Gaza. For me and for many of you, what we witness on our phones and screens have bled and blended into our daily existence. But after 223 days of genocide, I would want it no other way. I reject the bliss of ignorance and refuse to separate, segregate, or compartmentalize my life as an American with the genocide unleashed against Palestinians. There is no there and here. There is no Midwest and Mideast. There is just here and now. Against this pacifying tide of fear, the chilling effect of cowardice, we must entrench ourselves fully in a genocide that unfolds as we and as I stand and sit here tonight. They want us to be silent, these powers that be. They want us to remain hush and silent. But we must speak up. They warn us that by speaking up, that it comes with costs. But these costs are nothing compared to the 45,000 people or more who have lost their lives and the millions more who have lost their land. Asking us to remain silent goes against the very impulse of what it means to be human. Yes, those who warn us not to speak up on the genocide in Gaza are pleading for us to go against our very essence as human beings, regardless of your race or religion, political affiliation, or ideology. To stare at a screen and witness relentless murder, or scroll across these black mirrors we faithfully hold in our palms and not speak up, and not be enraged, is the very apex of inhumanity. The powers that be across every specter of American society are Orwellian in their conspiracy to not only keep us deaf, dumb, and blind, but to make us silent, scared, and selfish. But this genocide is not novel, and these live passages of mass death in Gaza are no existential novel. This is a real-life test, a political test, an existential test, a spiritual test of the highest order. A test assigned on each and every one of us to fight for our very own humanity against powers that are keen on suppressing it, are keen on killing it, as we witness Palestinian bodies being slayed in record number before our eyes. Now I want you to realize and recognize one thing. This is the most widely reported and recorded genocide in world history. Months ago I wrote an article calling it the first digital genocide. We are witnessing genocide in real time. We are not idle observers to this genocide. We are active participants, seeing real-life murder in real time only seconds after it's taken place. Now, as you know, I'm a law professor. I'm fortunate to have tenure at a top American law school. I teach constitutional law. My job is to teach the very structure of American government and the essential values and principles enshrined in this nation's founding document. But at every point of my career, from college through today, I was warned by somebody. Somebody came up and told me these very words: don't talk about Palestine and don't talk about Israel. It'll hurt your career. It'll affect you detrimentally. I was told this as a law student at the University of Michigan. I was told it again as a law student at UCLA. I was told this as a lawyer working for an American major law firm in Washington, D.C. by a partner. I was told this again as a civil rights attorney. I was told this again as a junior law professor when I first entered legal academia. I was told this only years ago when I was a visiting law professor at Harvard Law School. I was told this again 7 months ago as this genocide unfolded on day one of this genocide. I was told this again: don't speak on Palestine and Israel one final time, days after this genocide began, before millions of dollars were taken from my academic center at the institution I teach at right now. One final warning to stay silent and secure my self-interest over the evil unfolding before my eyes. And at every step, every time this warning came to me, I said no. Emphatically and incessantly, I said no. Hell no. I would say the F word, but my mom is here and I want her to slap me. If you know anything about Arab moms, age ain't none but a number. They'll keep on hitting you regardless of how old you are. I not only spoke up for Palestine, but in fact amplified my voice, spoke with greater frequency, and met these warnings and threats with an affirmation that my people meant more than my career, that the law itself, the law that I teach, meant nothing, absolutely nothing, if its core principles were so flippantly diminished and dismissed.
particularly as a constitutional law professor, a professor tasked with teaching the next generation of attorneys and judges, elected officials, and leaders about the sanctity of democracy and dignity, free speech and free assembly, equal protection and due process, civil rights and human rights, the sacred role of dissidents and the freedom to protest. What would these ideals mean if they only existed on paper and denied to people because they are Palestinian or because they are speaking on behalf of Palestinian rights and dignity and humanity? Let me tell you what they mean. They'd mean what they meant in antebellum and Jim Crow America when black people were segregated and classified as inferior. They'd mean what they meant at the embryonic stages of this nation when indigenous peoples were displaced and dehumanized, stripped of their land on account of being subhuman and savage. Now that sounds really familiar. Just turn on CNN and Fox News, you'll get a replay of that all over again. What would these principles and what did they actually mean for South Africans facing apartheid, or Bosnians facing genocide, or Iraqis slain en masse under the pretext of a lie of weapons of mass destruction, or Palestinians facing the Nakba in 1948, or a second Nakba today? They mean nothing. Today's dark hour is by no means unique. It is like every other dark hour before it, every human tragedy that came before Gaza and those that will come after it. It starts with this fear stoked by those in power for us to remain silent, with that warning to shut up, or else. This silence is what drives complicity, like the brother said earlier today. And this complicity is what fuels genocide, what enables genocides to take place, and what unfolds before our very eyes right now. Not as fictive chapters on the pages of books called 1984, but in real life and living color across every digital medium in 2024. But this bleak genocidal moment comes with opportunity, an opportunity to reclaim our humanity and realize what it truly means to be free. One of my heroes, James Baldwin, a true American founding father, not like those other guys who enslaved and pillaged, wrote that, quote, "To be a black man in this country is to be relatively conscious, is to be enraged almost all the time." Let me repeat that. To be a black man in this country and to be relatively conscious is to be enraged almost all the time. This is precisely how I feel right now. This is how all of us in this room should feel right now. But Baldwin, and everybody should read this book called The Fire Next Time by James Baldwin. One of the beautiful, most sublime books written in modern time. He wasn't talking about rage in its violent sense, or even in its physical denotation. Baldwin was pointing to a form of rage that we must all seize, that we must all express and embody as we stare this genocide in the face. He was talking about a righteous rage. Yes, a righteous rage that rebels against the armies of complicity that seek to silence us. A righteous rage against the distance between the compassion seated within us all and the well-dressed cowardice that promises status and money and career upward mobility if you stay silent. A righteous rage against the dissonance between those lofty principles in the Constitution and human rights charters and their categorical denial to Palestinians in Gaza or students on college campuses. Now, I never cared much about money or material things, status, or the superficial trappings of American life. What makes this country exceptional are not hollow dreams of economic or material upward mobility, but those lofty aspirational principles enshrined in the Constitution that we must make real, that we must give form from how they are read off meaningless pieces of paper like this. They mean nothing on paper if they don't actually materialize into action. We can only make them real through speaking and standing up against genocide, to protest against its enablers and White Houses and white supremacist vigilantes that uphold a mangled portrait of America sullied by racism and soaked in blood. Now, this is why I chose to become a law professor. This is why I teach constitutional law. And let me tell you, there is nothing more quintessentially American, nothing more fundamentally human than speaking up for dignity and humanity, self-determination and sovereignty for the Palestinian people. Now, it's not because they are Palestinian, but because they are people. I would do the same if the people in Gaza were black or brown, Jewish or Hindu. It is based on principle. It is not based on phenotype or identity or race or religion. But they are indeed Palestinian. And it is a moral and constitutional imperative for us all to muster up everything inside of us to call out and condemn this genocide until its final end. Ooh, that felt like a cardio workout right there. Thank you, brother. No, look, I'm going to get off the stage, but I want to finish with a couple of notes. Don't be afraid to speak up. Rebuff these warnings and threats that if you post on Palestine and condemn Israel, that you're not going to get the right job, you're not going to be promoted. You know, that sort of incentive that you've been waiting for is going to be stripped from you. Don't be afraid. That's what I love about the ACRL. They aren't afraid. That's what I love about this town, these towns, Dearborn, Detroit. We aren't afraid. We never have been. We like a good fight, especially when it's a righteous fight, especially when our rage is justified and rooted in the very virtues, the fundamental values that make this nation what it is today. Ooh. Now, I grew up as a child in the war in Lebanon, and I remember the images of shattered buildings and shuttered lives, these gray landscapes that you guys see on your telephones in places like Deir al-Balah and Zaytun and Rafah. This was the panorama, the landscape, the mise-en-scène of my childhood growing up in Lebanon. And I'm proud to have endured that because it gave me the empathy to speak up on behalf of the people of Gaza going through, not a war, don't call it a war. People who called it a war on this stage beforehand need to be corrected. There is nothing akin to a war. It is a genocide. It is an occupation. It is apartheid. Use those terms. Use those terms. Reject these mythic terms that caricature what's going on as some sort of symmetrical strife between two equally situated parties. When they do that intentionally to make it seem like that we are on equal footing, and we are not. This is a genocide. Use that term. I want to close with these words. I am the proud student of Edward Said, of Mahmoud Darwish, of Norman Finkelstein, of Malcolm X, of Nelson Mandela, of Kimberly Crenshaw, of Ghassan Kanafani, who reminds us that everything in this world can be robbed and stolen except one thing. This one thing is the love that emanates from us, from a human being toward a solid commitment to a conviction or cause. I am proud that Palestine will remain that conviction or cause until my final breath or until Palestine is free. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
The award reads the ACRL Lifelong Voice of Courage Award to Professor Khaled Beydoun. One more time for Professor Khaled Beydoun. The ACRL is proud to award him. We want to remind you also Sunday, 1 p.m., right here outside, we were rallying for Palestine on this Nakba weekend, 1 p.m. on Sunday out here. The ACRL asks everybody to join us to rally No Votes for Genocide.
As we forge ahead in our humanitarian endeavors, it's imperative to acknowledge the unsung heroes who have been at the forefront of these efforts. Today, I stand humbled in front of you in the presence of two fierce immigration attorneys, Maria Kari and human rights attorney Alicia Nieves, two extraordinary individuals whose unwavering commitment has propelled the Gaza Family Project forward. Alicia, your exemplary leadership has not only secured crucial congressional and legislative support, but has also amplified our voices in the corridors of power. Your tireless dedication and advocacy has served as hope for countless families in distress. Alicia's commitment to our cause is nothing short of remarkable, as she tirelessly worked through sleepless nights to coordinate and execute rescue missions with unwavering determination. Maria, your independent spirit and your ability to advocate with such conviction have been instrumental in garnering widespread media attention for our cause. Your relentless efforts to champion the rights of the vulnerable have not gone unnoticed, and your impact resonates far beyond our immediate community. Your resilience in the face of adversity is a testament to your unwavering commitment to justice, and I extend my deepest gratitude for your invaluable contributions to the vital mission. I'm going to introduce you guys to the stage. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Miriam, for the introduction. My name is Alicia, and I'm one of the attorneys of many that have tried to answer the call of Palestinians and Palestinian Americans who have been trying to get their loved ones out of Gaza as the war against them continues. I want to thank the ACRL board for taking such an ambitious step after October 7th as the bombs began to fall on Gaza to try to figure out ways to help Americans and their loved ones get out of Gaza. I'm here with many attorneys that have sued the United States and also are taking a bold initiative to try to petition the government to rescue as many people as possible. And I want to thank the ACRL for being a source of trust for Palestinians as they try to get their families out. I want to take the time to allow my colleague Maria to talk just a little bit of what it's been like to work with these families, these victims of war, as they just really try to survive every day, and hopefully just try to give you some insight into what's happening right now with our clients. And to please, we ask that you pray and continue to call on Congress and the United States government to help these individuals as much as possible.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Maria Kari. I am coming from Houston. It is such a pleasure to be here with you all. I want to tell you a little bit about the work that we've been doing. It was about the third week of October that we realized that the house was on fire, the firefighters were not coming, and we were going to have to start grabbing buckets. Nabi and Jim, they really led the way with this brave, unprecedented lawsuit against the Biden administration for its failure to evacuate Palestinian Americans in the same way that it evacuated Israeli Americans. Before there was even any Israeli offensive in Gaza, American State Department moved lightning fast to get Israeli Americans and their immediate ones out of Israel. There was cruise ships and charter jets that brought them home to safety in the United States. But to date, nothing like that has happened for Americans and their immediate relatives trapped in Gaza. And that is how the Gaza Family Project was born. I can tell you that there are still Americans that we are working with in Gaza. I have one client, Khalid Murtaga, a 22-year-old American. He has been begging the State Department for assistance for months now, and you might have seen him on the news. Inshallah, we hope to see him out of Gaza soon. You also might have heard of some of the American doctors who are stuck there right now. That's another initiative that we will be assisting on.
Maria, give me 1 second. I want to shut these people up. Sorry. Absolutely. Everybody, please, with respect to our speakers, have a seat, and I'll wait. I'll wait till everyone has a seat and gives respect to these lawyers who have been working on their own dime for the last 7 months to get people out of Gaza. Please have a seat, and we'll have respect for everybody. I'll wait. Please have a seat. If you're in the back getting something to drink, please have a seat until we're done. Please have a seat. I'll wait till everybody gives their attention to the people who have been doing this work to get people out of Gaza. I'll wait. I'll wait. Okay, Maria, continue.
So some of my colleagues are on this stage today. Alex Vernon, Ghassan, Alicia, and so many other attorneys from around the country who couldn't be with us here today helped file those lawsuits against the Biden administration. But it wasn't enough, right? So it seemed that every time we went on ABC News or CNN, the American client's name would appear on the crossing list to exit into Egypt the very next day. So it was very clear that the government could do something, the US government, but it was just choosing to move slow. The Americans that returned home have returned home broken. They have told us that their bodies are back on US soil, but their hearts are still in Gaza with their countless loved ones, their children, their nieces, their nephews, their elderly parents, their siblings that they've left behind. And it was around that time, now I'm thinking about December, that Mariam Sharara, the executive director of ACRL, one of the smartest people I have met, also one of the most passionate people I've met, called me and said, it's not enough. It's not enough to have brought home these 60 Americans. We need to do more. What can we do? So we started the Gaza Family Project, the second phase, and that was the humanitarian parole program. We are currently still working on that. We need your prayers. Alicia has been engaging directly with congressional representatives. A special shout out to the congressional representatives who have been incredibly supporting. And while we work on filling out these humanitarian parole petitions, while we work on the Amici briefs that outline all of the horrors that our Americans that were returning from Gaza told us about, the death toll has only climbed. One of the things that really sticks out to me was the story of one of the families we assisted in November. He was an elderly grandfather, and he had a 1-acre parcel of land in Gaza that he was very proud of. He had saved his whole life, and he was going to build his retirement home there. He was on vacation in Rafah when war broke out, and he tells me how he turned that 1 acre of land into a mass grave for all generations of his family. He buried pieces of his grandchildren and children on that one parcel of land before he was evacuated with the help of ACRL. I have countless stories like that. I have stories of clients that we talked to who would have 9-10 days go by without hearing from their loved one in Gaza. In one situation that always sticks out to me, a man whose newlywed wife was sheltering in one of the hospitals in Khan Yunis, a hospital where she had worked as a nurse. She was taken by IDF, and for 9 long days we did not know if she was dead or alive. She is, alhamdulillah, out and safely in Egypt with him, and he tells me every day that he can't believe that she made it out. I have a lot of stories like that. But for now, I want you guys to enjoy your dinner. Thank you for your support. Continue to keep our clients, our families in your prayers. And thank you again for your time.
Thank you. All right, stay up here. Thank you, Mari and Alicia, for your dedication. And we extend our deepest gratitude to all the pro bono attorneys who have dedicated their time. So while not all 65 of the attorneys working nationwide are here, we are honored to recognize those who are present, and their commitment to this project has been nothing short of extraordinary. And I want to recognize each one. So Miriam, could you hand me one by one, because they need to have their names heard. And we thank them for taking on this initiative of humanity, for standing up for justice and compassion when it mattered the most. And their unwavering dedication embodies the spirit of the Arab American Civil Rights League. So Alex Vernon. Thank you. Thanks, bro. Amy Ducare. Aisha Bassi. Is she here? Where's she? Okay. Ghassan Shamir came all the way from San Francisco. Sujud Hamadi came all the way from Dearborn. Thank you. Fadl Nabilsi from Nablus, that's right. And of course, Maria and Alicia already have their awards. Please, one more hand for our pro bono attorneys who have been working to tirelessly bring people back. Jim.
I want to welcome on the stage Ode Merowe, Zach Hallman. Do we have anybody else here from the pro bono group? Thank you. This is a wonderful group.
We also have William Savage, please. There you go.
Yes.
And Verona Senko, please, helping on the first complaint in this country.
Okay, let's all get in front of the podium so they can take a picture. Everybody get in front of the podium. In front of the podium, over here, over here, over here. Yep. One more hand for our pro bono attorneys who have been instrumental in dedicating their lives for Gaza and dedicating their lives to getting people out. All right, Mariam. Please stay seated. We just have a couple more messages, and then our program will conclude.
Salam's ACRL family. I am deeply humbled and honored to be selected to receive ACRL's Courage and Public Service Award. I wish it could be with all of you in person, but unfortunately we have votes today and public service never sleeps. I'm incredibly grateful to serve as the Congresswoman for Michigan's 12th Congressional District. I am deeply proud to serve not only as an unapologetic Arab American woman in Congress, but to also represent one of the largest Arab American communities in our nation, who are never shy, never, about doing what is right and showing up for other communities. The past few months have been more difficult than any of us could have imagined. I know I'm not the only one whose heart is in Palestine every single day. Through all the pain, I am hopeful with the growing movement to save lives, no matter faith or ethnicity. The growing movement that is saying no to genocide and apartheid. I am being reminded all the time of what Pastor Bland Jr. taught me, which is that our country is not divided but disconnected. From those in the labor movement to those fighting for clean air, fellow Americans of all backgrounds are coming together to say enough, enough in our country funding wars and destruction. Let's support life, combat poverty, and liberate people from oppression. So please, remember to not only show up when it is our community under attack, but also when other communities are facing hate and oppression. I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the amazing work of Miriam, who worked with our team to evacuate Palestinian Americans from Gaza. ACRL pushed the State Department to apply the law equally and not leave any Americans behind. It wasn't perfect, but ACRL's partnership made a difference. And also a special shout out to my team member, Kieta McKinney, who has been working nonstop, even to this day, since the start of the genocide to save lives, at times even shedding tears with our family members. She led with compassion and worked through weekends. Thank you, Kieta, for your love for justice. I saw the relief in your face when you successfully helped Zechariah and Layla get out of Rafah. Again, thank you to ACRL, board members, and the team for believing in the work my team and I are doing in Congress. Again, I am honored to be able to accept this award.
So we'd like to invite Ms. McKinney up here to accept the award, the ACR Courage and Public Service Award to Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib. Here you are, Ms. Kiera. Thank you. And graciously, because we were running short, Commissioner Sam Beydoun, who I don't know if he's still here, he had to get going, but we would like to thank Commissioner Sam Beydoun and Commissioner Al Haydous, I don't know if he's still here, for being at the forefront of making sure a ceasefire resolution was passed by the Wayne County Commission unanimously back in November, and they stood at the forefront of that.
Greetings from New York City. I'm so sorry I can't be there in Dearborn, Michigan today with you to celebrate ACRL, but I'm here in New York City celebrating the graduation of my beloved son, Jake. But I want you to know how honored and humbled I am to receive this award from ACRL. Your work, your vital work, reminds me of that when we advocate for some that are vulnerable among us, we advocate for all. And I'm particularly grateful for the opportunity to work with the ACRL, including on your current initiative to help Americans in Gaza and their families in desperate need of medical care to be evacuated. And it's a real privilege on this project to get to work with your executive director, Miriam, and Alicia Nieves, an attorney, who define humanity, compassion, and tenacity. So thank you for all that you do, and thank you for all of you there who support ACRL. And I'd ask that if you've supported them, support them a little more, or even a lot more. So I look forward to being with you and thanking you in person. I look forward to a fair and just society where we all embrace our humanity, where we embrace human dignity. Thank you.
Thanks to Dr. Keller, and he made a good point. If you believe in the ACRL, give, give, give. Accepting the award on his behalf is Miriam. Here you go, Miriam. Just so that we all know that it happened. Okay. We also want to thank, I don't know if they're still here, the attorneys from Jenner Block. Are you here? Raise your hand if you're here. I can't see. Where are they? Okay, we know that Jenner Block also took a lot of cases for the pro bono stuff for the Gaza. A big hand for Jenner Block. Thank you so much for all the work that you did for our people as well. I want to give a quick shout out to our MC for the evening, Faraj Javad. We ended up stealing a lot of your work, but thank you so much for all the work that you did for us and for being a great voice on TV. And we want to say thank you to the sponsors. I'm going to read them real quickly and let's recognize all of them at the end. Hadrut Design for Business, Soiree, Event and Floral, MJ Awards, Your Occasion Destination, Sky Kanafi, West Avenue Floral and Events, Jenna Sound Stage and Lighting, Dearborn.org, HB Production, Shihab Photography, Bill Chapman Photography, Kronk Media, MEA TV, Bedouin Photography, Media Man Productions, and of course the people who provided our dinner tonight, Bintaj Bale Catering. Let's have a big hand for all of our vendors and sponsors. I'm sorry? Okay. And one last thing, don't forget 1 p.m. again, we'll be here outside on Sunday marching for Palestine. And Tharwa, go ahead.
Good evening, I'm Tharwa Abdumalik. I have the honor of serving alongside our executive director at the ACRL, where I have the privilege of witnessing firsthand the profound dedication to civil rights advocacy. From tackling global crises, addressing local discrimination, this role has deeply impressed upon me the importance of justice and dignity for the individual. I am thankful for the valuable experiences of inspiring people I have met along the way. I'd also like to extend a heartfelt executive to our executive director, Mariam Sharara, who believed in me and drew out the potential within me, seeing something that encouraged me to believe in myself and strive for excellence. I am forever grateful for this belief and support moving forward. I am committed to continuing this journey of advocacy, striving to make a positive impact in the lives of others.
Okay, and one last treat for everybody. I want to say that I'm very happy to see with us two young Palestinian organizers, Lexi Zaidan and Adam Abu Salah, who are here, who have been marching since October 7th down the streets saying free, free Palestine. And Lexi especially, who is working on the Senate candidacy, and I'd like to welcome him up to the stage. Please come on up here. Of someone who has running a landmark Senate campaign, who has made sure to put justice and truth and Palestine and the corruption of AIPAC and Congress at the center of the messaging for his campaign, and someone who has done a great job fundraising and someone who has done a great job keeping our message out there. So please help me welcome Senate candidate, our brother from this community, Nasser Beydoun.
I guess they saved the best for last. First of all, I ripped up my speech, so I'm not going to read anything. I just wanted to say that I would hope there would come a day where we don't need an ACRL in this country. But unfortunately, and Congressman Rahana can attest to that, we are going to need ACRL more than ever in the days to come. Congress just passed legislation equating anti-Semitism with anti-Zionism. Basically, what that legislation says is you can say F Joe Biden, but you can't say F Benjamin Netanyahu. There's another legislation coming down the pipeline that basically allows the Treasury Department to take away the C4 or C3 status of any organization they deem to be anti-Semitic. And they specifically named Jewish Voice for Peace in the legislation, as well Young Voices for Palestine. Folks, our First Amendment rights are being attacked. And it's an obvious, blatant, frontal attack on them. And Voltaire said, if you want to know who controls you, look at who you can't criticize. So I'm telling you right here, from this stage, that we will continue to criticize, we will continue to raise our voices, we will continue to support the Palestinian cause, and we will never stop saying free, free Palestine, even if we all have to go to jail because of it. Thank you.
All right, we'll go to jail with you. All right, that concludes the program for the evening. Thank you, everybody, for coming out and supporting the ACRL. And I think we can start it on the way out. Free, free Palestine! Josh, I can't hear you. Ceasefire now! Good night, everybody.